husband, Dave. And if you don't like it, get the f out. Really?
Ready!
It started with a bolt cutter. One clean snap, and suddenly you're staring into the dusty abyss of someone else's failed life choices. A mattress, a mannequin, maybe a microwave filled with vintage Playboys. Welcome to Storage Wars, the show that made America believe that a pile of unpaid garbage might just be a retirement plan. In the golden days of 2010, this wasn't just reality TV, this was modern treasure hunting. Real people, real lockers, real stakes. Or at least, that's what we thought. You had Dave Hester yelling, like a suburban war cry.
22, 22, 22, 23, what a big.
Brandy and Jared bickering like two broke college kids in a divorce simulation.
He's so stupid. Yeah, we got the best locker of the day, but we spent the most money on it.
Barry Weiss showing up to an auction in a hearse because, well, Barry. And somehow, this chaos worked. Every episode was a mini casino wrapped in denim and dust. 1 minute, it's a pile of broken toys. The next, someone's pulling out a rare coin collection worth more than your car.
Liner? Oh, you know what? These are all coins from...
Prisons?
Whoops.
Back then, Storage Wars was raw, unpredictable, and just trashy enough to feel like a guilty pleasure instead of a full-blown shame spiral. But like any good locker, the more you dig, the more it starts to stink. To understand how Storage Wars became one of the weirdest cultural juggernauts of the 2010s, we have to rewind to December 1st, 2010. The day A&E aired what looked like a filler show meant for 2 a.m. slots between Dog the Bounty Hunter and a Slap Chop infomercial. And yet, it exploded. Because Storage Wars had one thing that recession-era viewers craved, the illusion of possibility. Behind every steel door could be treasure, tragedy, or a taxidermied raccoon in a tutu, which yes, actually happened. But why did it land so hard, so fast? Simple, timing. America was still reeling from the Great Recession. Foreclosures were everywhere. People were broke. Hope felt like a luxury item. The idea that an average Joe could drop $300 on a dusty locker and walk away with a Rolex, a samurai sword, and a stack of mint-condition comics, that was catnip. It wasn't just TV, it was financial fantasy therapy. Storage Wars tapped directly into that hustle-core dream. No degree, no resume, just guts and a flashlight. And the cast absolutely unhinged in the best way. Dave Hester, the human foghorn yelling like someone dared him to out-annoy a car alarm. Daryl Sheets betting on lockers like he was on a bender in Reno.
Yes! Bam! Oh my God. We could be talking a mother.
Brandy and Jared fighting like broke newlyweds. And Barry Weiss, a walking flea market with the confidence of a Vegas magician on his third espresso. Every episode offered a dopamine hit of unpredictability. One locker held antique jukeboxes, the next just 400 pounds of expired mayonnaise. It didn't matter. We were addicted to the maybe. By season 2, Storage Wars was A&E's biggest hit. Over 5 million viewers tuned in for the premiere. That's borderline Super Bowl territory. If the Super Bowl involved middle-aged resellers in cargo shorts screaming over broken lava lamps. So A&E did what any network would do when they catch lightning in a thrift store, franchise it into oblivion. Suddenly there was Storage Wars, Texas, New York, Canada, France, because apparently the world needed to see a man in Quebec argue over a box of curling trophies. Even Barry got a spinoff.
I don't need to know what's in there. I get a feel. Get me the Kraken.
Buried Treasure. Basically Antiques Roadshow on edibles, starring your weird uncle in leather gloves. For a hot second, Storage Wars wasn't just a show. It was a movement. Auction houses saw amateur bidders flood in. Lockers that used to go for $50 were now hitting $500 because everyone thought they'd find their own golden microwave. It was like the gold rush, except instead of gold, people were digging for Beanie Babies and expired tax returns. And somehow, it worked, because Storage Wars turned junk into hope. It gave failure a price tag, and it dangled just enough magic to make you believe maybe you could get rich off someone else's forgotten life.
I'm a connoisseur of confections. We got a lot of money to make up on this locker.
But then, like most things that shine too fast, the cracks started showing. It didn't fall apart all at once. At first, it was just little things. A locker with a $90,000 Elvis memorabilia collection? Kind of sus. A perfectly arranged antique jukebox, untouched and gleaming, sitting right next to some moldy Christmas tinsel. Really? Fans started noticing the patterns. The finds were getting weirder, the casts louder, and every episode ended with someone miraculously pulling a minor fortune out of a dented filing cabinet. Then Dave Hester dropped the bomb. In 2012, Mr. filed a lawsuit against A&E, claiming the show was, in his words, rigged. Not kind of fake, but fully staged. According to Hester, producers were salting lockers, placing high-value items into units ahead of time to hype the drama. You know, like a magician hiding a dove in his sleeve. Except instead of a dove, it was vintage comics, gold coins, or a full samurai armor set.
All right, we got a big old nice unit here. Here we go. And how much money? What's your pleasure? What are you going to pay us in? I got 20, not 20.
He also claimed producers secretly gave money to weaker cast members so they could bid higher, just to keep the rivalries spicy. Imagine losing a locker to someone who just got Venmo'd by the showrunner. Brutal. A&E clapped back hard. They didn't exactly deny the claims, but instead pulled the entertainment card, claiming the show was protected by the First Amendment. Translation, we can fake it. You just can't sue us for believing it. They admitted some dialogue was scripted, that items were occasionally rearranged, but they denied full-on fakery. A weirdly specific half-confession, like saying, we didn't cheat on the test, we just reorganized the answers. Eventually, Hester settled and, plot twist, returned to the show in 2014. Yep, the guy who exposed the magic trick walked right back on stage. And just like that, Storage Wars crossed from reality TV into full soap opera territory. After that, the cracks were hard to ignore. Fans became skeptics. The treasure hunt started feeling more like treasure theater. The stakes? Manufactured. The rivalries? Rehearsed. And once that illusion broke, the thrill wasn't what's in the locker. It was how far will they fake it this time.
See, look.
Here's another 10 bucks.
See, I told you it was full.
If Dave Hester's lawsuit cracked the foundation, what came next took a sledgehammer to the whole facade. But the first truly dark turn, that actually came before the on-screen chaos. In 2013, something happened that made fans stop laughing, even if the cameras kept rolling. Cast member Mark Balelo was found dead in his car from carbon monoxide poisoning, just days after a drug-related arrest. It wasn't just a colorful character disappearing from the show. It was the moment Storage Wars stopped being quirky Americana and started to feel cursed. And the cracks kept spreading. Later that same year, fan favorite Barry Weiss left the show after season 4. No more skeleton gloves, no more outrageous sunglasses. He said he wanted to do other things, but really, it felt like the soul of the show had driven off into the sunset.
27 years.
I'm gonna hand you a piece of candy here, and you're just gonna feed it right through the machine. Just start cranking the handle.
Then came Brandon Sheets, son of the gambler Daryl. He'd slowly stepped into the spotlight, and then quietly disappeared in 2014, allegedly due to budget reasons. Fans were confused. Brandon threw shade online. The producer said nothing. But the moment the show fully jumped the shark, that was June 2015, a scene that felt ghost-written by the WWE. Dave Hester versus auctioneer Dan Dotson. The cause? A skipped bid. The result? A parking lot brawl with redneck WrestleMania energy. Rumors say producers told Hester to confront Dotson. Instead of tension, we got blood, screaming, flailing fists, and Laura Dotson getting tossed like an NPC in GTA.
Open your eyes. And if you don't like it, get the out. Really? Ready?
TMZ feasted, lawsuits flew. And we, the audience, we weren't shocked. We were entertained. Because by now, Storage Wars wasn't about the lockers anymore. The real treasure was the off-screen dysfunction. And it didn't stop. In 2018, the most unbelievable Storage Wars moment ever happened, and the show missed it entirely. A couple bought a locker from Dan Dotson for $500. Inside was a safe. Inside the safe, $7.5 million in cash. Yes, $7.5 million. And Storage Wars missed it. No dramatic zooms, no fake gasps, just real life without the reality crew. That says everything. The most jaw-dropping event in the show's history wasn't even on the show. Meanwhile, what was on screen got darker, messier, and honestly, sad. By 2021, Brandy and Jared had gone from lovable to toxic. Their breakup became part of the show. Weeks later, Jared was arrested for allegedly shoving Brandy during a bar fight. Storage Wars wasn't just scripted drama anymore. It had become true crime. No one was watching for antiques, they were watching for incidents. What started as blue-collar chaos became a circus of lawsuits and viral meltdowns. By the end, Storage Wars wasn't digging through junk for treasure, it was digging through itself. And as Brandy would probably put it, another one bites the dust, baby.
Backpacks?
Good ones. Well, they're 20 bucks a piece.
Once upon a time, Storage Wars felt scrappy and unpredictable, a wild bet wrapped in denim and drama. Now, it's the TV equivalent of a slot machine with a sticky lever and no payout. Let's be real, no one's watching for what's in the lockers anymore. Why? Because it's always one of three things. 1, random and worthless junk. 2, suspiciously valuable item that's just there. And 3, Daryl Sheets pretending to care. Gone is the thrill of discovery. Every episode follows the same tired beats. Dramatic music swells, someone stares at a box like it contains the Ark of the Covenant, and then, surprise, it's a toaster from 1994.
Wow, this dresser is exquisite. Look at the carving on it.
The tension that made early seasons exciting, replaced by scripted bickering and overproduced stare-downs. What once felt chaotic now feels choreographed. You can practically see the editing timeline in the cast's eyes. The characters have become caricatures of themselves. Dave still yells, "Yeah," but it lands like a dad quoting Anchorman in 2025. Brandy's trying, sure, but every locker full of bowling trophies looks like it's draining her will to live. Barry came back, but even he seems like he's wondering where the weird went. Jared's gone, for let's say, legally sound reasons. And the spin-offs? All DOA. Storage Wars, Texas, dead. Storage Wars, New York, buried. At some point, A&E tried to milk the franchise like it was still 2012, but forgot that nostalgia dries up fast when the product doesn't evolve. Meanwhile, online, the show has morphed into meme material. Dave's became an ironic TikTok soundbite.
There it is. His face.
Reddit threads dissect every suspiciously perfect locker. Entire YouTube channels now exist solely to expose how unprofitable this lifestyle actually is. Spoiler, no one's retiring off a bin of Beanie Babies and VHS tapes of Matlock. And yet, the show keeps going. Not because it's good, but because it's there, in the background, while you fold laundry, or spiral into an existential crisis. It's comfort junk. Storage Wars isn't about treasure anymore. It's about repetition. A format too familiar to quit and too broken to fix, like a dusty blender someone keeps bidding on, hoping this time it might work. Spoiler, it doesn't. So, is Storage Wars dead? Not technically. As of 2025, it's still limping along, like an aging Elvis impersonator doing birthday gigs for gas money. And yes, there's another new season coming, with Dave Hester. Again, because nothing screams creative revival like bringing back the guy who once sued you for being fake. But let's be honest, Storage Wars can't go back. The innocence is gone. The magic evaporated. The trust shattered like a ceramic clown statue from locker number 241. We've seen behind the curtain.
You know what? All these drawers are fixable. That's $100. This bookshelf is pretty nice.
And the wizard is wearing cargo shorts, holding a walkie-talkie and whispering, "Act surprised." Can it be saved? Maybe, but only if it stops pretending. Stop calling it reality. Stop pretending this is about treasure. Lean in. Go full meta. Let Barry host a spin-off called What the Hell Is This Thing? Give Brandy a true crime podcast about locker-based murders. Let Dave play the villain he was born to be, with a wrestling belt and theme music. Don't reboot the show. Reformat it. Own the chaos. Celebrate the weird. Admit it's scripted. Just make it fun again. Because right now, insisting Storage Wars is still authentic is like saying your 2011 LinkedIn photo still looks like you. Everyone sees the difference. Everyone feels the lie. Here's what we want. Real mess, real personalities, and maybe, just maybe, something we haven't seen 1,000 times before. We don't need perfection. We need mildew-scented honesty. But maybe I'm being too harsh. Maybe Storage Wars isn't dying. Maybe it's evolving into a new form of entertainment. One where the real action isn't in the lockers, but in the internet chaos, legal drama, and meme legacy it leaves behind. Because at the end of the day, the treasure was never in the units. It was in the unfiltered madness we watched unfold. And if you've made it this far, you, yes you, are just as addicted to this beautiful dumpster fire as we are. So smash that like button, subscribe for more brutally honest breakdowns of pop culture decay, and tell us in the comments, what would you do if you found $7.5 million in a locker? And no, you're not legally obligated to say turn it in. Until next time, it's still on air, somehow.